Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if a computer could really sound like you or even feel like you, especially after you are gone? Well, this new research explores just that. Imagine this, you've got all these digital pictures, messages, and social media posts that last forever. But what if, instead of just being a dusty old archive, they could actually talk to you? That is the idea behind something called AI and Afterlife systems. They use new AI tools to create digital versions of people that can chat and seem to remember things about them. This is super interesting for fields like information systems because it changes what digital legacy means. It is not just about storing data anymore. It is about creating an interactive representation of someone. Think about it, identity isn't just a list of facts. It is how you talk, how you react, your sense of humor, and even your relationships. The researchers in this study noticed something important though. A lot of the focus was on how people who receive these AI versions might feel, or the ethics of it all. But what about the person whose data is being used to create the agent in the first place? The data donor, as they call them. This is crucial. If the person themselves doesn't recognize their digital self, then the whole idea of a genuine legacy gets a bit shaky. So, the big question the researchers wanted to answer was this: how can we design and test these AI chatbots so that the person whose data they're based on can actually recognize themselves? And which parts of that recognition are the trickiest to get, right? To figure this out, they created something called an AI biographer. Think of it like a really smart interviewer. It guides people through a structured chat, asking questions to gather information about their life, their personality, and how they communicate. The AI biographer asked questions across 10 categories. They started with easy stuff to build rapport and get a feel for how someone likes to express themselves, even their sense of humor. Then it moved on to everyday life, how people communicate, important memories, emotions, relationships, their core values, even their contradictions and unique quirks. The idea behind directed recognizability is really key here. It is not about making a perfect, exact copy of a person. Instead, it is about whether the created AI agent feels like a limited, believable version of you, especially in how you interact and what you value. So after someone went through this interview process with the AI biographer, the system would then create a personalized AI agent based on that data. Then the person got to chat with their own AI creation and see how it felt. After they chatted with their AI double, they filled out a questionnaire and had a follow-up interview to share their thoughts. They were asked things like, was there a moment you thought, yes, that is exactly how I would have said it? Or conversely, was there a moment you thought, no, that is not me at all? They studied 15 people and the overall results were pretty positive. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being super recognizable, people rated their AI agents around a 7. Now, here is where it gets really interesting. When they asked people to consider how good the representation was given the amount of data they provided, the score went up even higher to nearly a 9. This tells us people weren't necessarily expecting perfection. They understood that the AI was working with the information they gave it. What really mattered was what kind of information was provided. They found that certain aspects of self-recognition were much stronger than others. The researchers ranked them, and the most stable and recognizable dimension was value coherence. This means if the AI agent sounded like it shared the person's core beliefs and moral compass, that was a big win for recognizability. Following that, situational response patterns also did pretty well. This is about how the AI reacted in specific scenarios. The middle ground was vocal and linguistic authenticity. People picked up on some familiar wording or speech habits, but it wasn't always perfect. This is where things like dialect or saying things in a specific context fell short. The most fragile dimensions, the ones that were hardest for the AI to get right, were emotional resonance and humor congruence. Even though getting the emotional tone right could create really strong moments of recognition, when it missed the mark, it felt quite jarring. Humor was even trickier. Most of the time, the humor just wasn't reproduced at all. The researchers think this is because humor relies so much on timing, shared jokes, inside information, and the flow of a conversation, which are hard for AI to nail perfectly. Interestingly, the actual voice cloning feature, which they tested with some participants, also got mixed reviews. While some people loved how close it sounded, others found the prosody, or the rhythm and intonation and the absence of their specific dialect really noticeable. A really unexpected discovery was how helpful the AI biographer interview itself was. Several participants reported that the process of answering the questions made them think more deeply about their own lives and who they are. This means the tool wasn't just gathering data for the AI, it was also acting like a reflective interface. helping people understand themselves better. So what does all this mean? The main takeaway is that authenticity for these AI agents isn't about a perfect, complete replica. It is about directed recognizability. It is about capturing the important stuff like values, how you react in certain situations, your way of speaking, and some emotional cues while being clear about its limitations. For designers, this means focusing on scenarios. Instead of just asking, "What are your hobbies?" ask, "How would you react if your friend canceled plans last minute?" Also, be super careful with emotion and humor. It is better to be a bit reserved and accurate than to try too hard and get it wrong, especially in sensitive contexts like a digital afterlife. And importantly, transparency about what the AI knows and doesn't know is vital. It is better to be upfront about limitations than to let people assume it is a perfect copy. From my perspective, this research is really important because it is looking at the ethical and practical side of AI in a very human way. While the tech is amazing, it is the human experience of being represented that matters most, especially when we think about our digital legacy. The fact that 15 participants with all their different backgrounds and languages felt a good degree of recognition is promising. But the differences across the dimensions really highlight where we need more work. The idea that the AI biographer itself can be a tool for self-reflection is a fascinating side effect. It means these AI systems could have value not just for the future, but for the people creating them now. Of course, this is still exploratory research. The sample size was small, and the study doesn't tell us how this recognition might change over time, or if other people like family members would feel the same way. Future studies could definitely explore these areas, perhaps even looking at how AI agents might be designed with these more difficult aspects like humor and emotional depth in mind. Overall, this paper gives us a great framework for thinking about how we design and evaluate AI that represents real people, especially in sensitive areas like digital legacy. It reminds us that authenticity is about recognition, not perfection, and that understanding the nuances of human identity is key. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more science explained simply. Let me know in the comments what you think about AI representing us after we're gone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.